So I click, as usual, when we clone, you click the link, go to copy. Now we go to IntelliJ and say get from version control, Control V. And when you do so, make sure that you don't have a folder with this name. And after this clone, click clone, and hopefully it's fine, right? It's coming, and wait. It's still building, don't do anything. Wait till it's finished building. This is what I said in the previous video. Most of the time, it will figure out where is the starting point. If it cannot figure out, like in previous case, you go to application and run it this way, and after this, you will get this entry. So let's see what it does. Obviously, it is PaperRockScissors application, and it is web application. So this kind of program, you have input page and output page, like in any other example so far, web project input page and out page. In this particular example, I call this specifically input and output page and output page. Input page shows PaperRockScissors, and rock will be selected by default all the time. Output page, it is this one. Shows a result. This is your choice, this is computer choice, your choice, computer choice, who won, and link to play again. So this is behavior, input and output. As you see, it is quite similar in the structure to several boxes in your assignment, like closed boxes, you select something, and here's the result. Also, in turn, like business logic is different because you have to, in this case, figure out who is the winner. In your case, you need to print out content and say which is your choice. You can stick to 3 choices or 4 choices, up to you or more. I didn't use loop to print these radio buttons, but you can use the loop to print radio buttons in your case if you want to make it fancy. You don't have to. You can copy paste it. These radio buttons. So let's see how it is organized. In my input page, this page is, as you see, doesn't have really dynamic content except header and footer. How header and footer is coded? In the header, it has a message, some header text. But when template is processed, you see name of the page. It's not some header text or some footer text. How does it work? I have a file called header and footer, specifically to define header and footer. It is defined by fragment name. If you took Android course, it's not the Android fragment, obviously, but idea is similar. Fragment is part of the screen. So it will pick this piece and copy-paste it on the server side into every template that is referring to name of the file and name of the fragment. The same as the bottom. Name of the file and name of the fragment footer. But footer does expect some date in it. Okay. So this date needs to be added to the model each time when we use the footer. Right? So there is a shortcut in the code of the controller at the bottom. Model attribute, local date. When you mark a method with model attribute, it will be called each time, and it will add return value to the model with this name. Okay. Not model, under this name, to the model. So it will be data returned by this object, local date now. And this will be the name of the date object in the footer. Right? So this is how it works. And I use formats to format it. Okay. So this method will be called each time for every request and edit it to the model. So this is extra piece of theory. How to add some object automatically each time. Like, for example, date in a footer. So I have default page, input. As you see, input page doesn't have any data added to it, except footer date. And I have play, and play shows up, and it has one object added called game data. So this is the result of business logic processing. So this method is receiving a request parameter. I could receive it as a string, it will be fine, but I decided to be a little bit fancy about it, so I defined enumeration type choice. There is a built-in conversion between string and enumeration type. As long as the name received is in capitals, and it is matching the stuff inside of enumeration type. So if I receive ROC in capitals as a string, it will be converted into enumeration type automatically. All right. So there are built-in conversions. So what is next? So this is how it receives it. How it sends it. Inside of input, you see that I'm sending value, paper, rock, and scissors. So it has to be in capital to convert in capital letters in order to convert it into enumeration type automatically. Right? Value, it is what is sent. Radio button should have exactly the same name because it is the same input. Right? It has only 3 options, but it is the same input. If you have the same name, these radio buttons will be working together. You click on one, it will unselect the other one. In this case, rock is checked hard-coded, but you can provide it automatically. You can provide extra code to make it selected randomly first. Okay? And user can change selection. But for simplicity, I made it hard-coded. Rock is selected by default. Okay? And I have 3 hard-coded images. Okay? But image should have 2 links. Why? The same as US CSS. Because static folder is not visible when you run Java server. So image should have 2 addresses. The same as CSS should have 2 addresses. The same as every link should have 2 addresses. So when you go to link or click submit button, you see that action also have 2 addresses. And this is just where you go when you click on play, and that's HTML. But this address is used when template agent processes page. So this play address will be shown in action when you run open browser, go to localhost 8080 and view page source. You will see processed template. You see, this is used to be TH. Now it is hard-coded instead of HTML on the server side. So browser receive it as it is. Also, this had TH in front of it. Now it doesn't. In action, remember it was action without TH and action with TH. This used to be action with TH, right? Now it is inserted in proper place. So browser will get it right away. Okay. So browser, when you click submit button, it is display, submit button. Value, it's a name of the button. You can override this way. You click submit button, data will be sent to address called play. So action, it's address where data travels. Okay. So data will be received at the address play here. This, you already saw it there. So what happens? Play is called. It will print user choice, whatever is selected. Okay. Next, it makes decision for the computer after received user choice. Why? Because this way I will avoid extra complexity storing user choice. Because your program talks to many browsers at the same time. It's not trivial to store user choice because you talk to many people. Okay? We will learn how to deal with storing state per browser at the next lesson. But it's your assignment, don't deal with this complexity. It's easily avoidable in this case. So I'm creating user choice, then I'm creating computer choice, printing computer choice. And after this, I'm calling game service get game data. Game data is a data object that I want to show. It contains everything that I want to show. What was user choice, what is computer choice, and who is the winner. Okay. And I'm showing output, and this is object containing everything that I want to show, game data. And obviously, I coded decision-making inside of this game service. Right? Totally separate from my GUI. As I say, end controller, when you do assignment, do the same. Separate business logic into service. Service technically means business service, business logic in this case. Okay? So separate business logic into your service. Okay? So what happens in output? In output, this is header. Okay. It shows player 1 choice. It is player 1, it is computer. Player 2, it is, no, player 1, it is user, player 2 is computer. So this is user, this is computer. See, user, computer. Okay. So I use template to build a string as before, right? I could use join string plus, joining string with plus. So I insert image that corresponds to player 1 choice. Player 1 is computer. Player 1 choice dot ping. Okay. Names of these images are in small letters. But enumeration type by default in capitals. So for this reason, when I define it enumeration type, I overrode string that converts capitals to lowercase. So this way I can use enumeration type for image name. Okay. And again, it's my choice. You can do whatever. All right. So I used this trick to convert capitals to small letters, so I can use image names in small letters. See, they're in small letters. Another way to round, just make it capitals. Okay. Why do I do it? I wanted to tell that enumeration type is more complicated than just constants. You can have a methods in it. You can have constructors in it. So it's more complicated. It's fancy, potentially. So going back to output. So it displays user choice, word versus, computer choice as image, and after this it displays again your choice and insert player 1 choice. Then computer choice and inserts player 2 choice from game data. And game result converted to string. Game result. Game result, in this case, it is, I use switch. Why do I use switch? To show that it's possible to use switch inside of template. You can do it easily inside of controller, just add string to it. Make logic and add string to it. So how switch works? You have a paragraph and have options. This piece is hiding 2 additional choices from the browser when you display HTML. Okay. Because if I remove this piece, file save all. And you won, computer won replay. Okay? It's not, when you debug appearance, by opening HTML, you don't want to see all three choices in one line. You need to see only one. Right? So for this reason, I had special command that is not hiding this code from processor, but hiding this from browser, so you don't see three choices at the same time. Okay? Just to hide it from a browser here, but not hide it switch option, not to hide switch options from the template engine. Okay? So how it works? It will select proper choice based on case here. If game result is player 1 wins, it will print you won. If game result is player 2 wins, it will print computer won. Okay. If game result is replay, it will print replay. It will be one of the three. All right? Questions? Why do I do it? It can be easily avoidable. I do it to show that templates potentially can have switches in it. And again, this can be easily avoided if you just include this object, this logic elsewhere in Java code, and just print this string inserted in the template. You don't have to do template logic here. You can do this inside of your Java and just print whatever string you want to show. Insert it as a string inside of your template. Questions? So now we should close up. Please browse through the code and bring your questions at the next lesson. You already know what is the assignment. I will post it today. And also look through. If you have any questions, ask at the next lesson. And in the next lesson, I will briefly review it. Assignment. Yes?
What is the assignment?
Assignment is due on Saturday next week. So you will have this week kind of thing, right? And you will have 3 lessons before it's due. So it's this Friday, 2 more lessons, but next Friday it's last moment because it's due on Saturday. So don't postpone questions till last Friday. Okay? Look through them tonight or tomorrow, and so you can ask questions at the next lesson and resolve them. And start doing it, because now you have all information to start doing your assignment. If you run into issue, you have 3 lessons to ask questions. If you start at the last moment, you don't have time to ask questions. It is important to start early, because it's new framework, new programming language, and it makes time to fix issues.